Shut up and sit down.
Today we are here with the award-winning MC Barber. MC, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be here.
Wonderful. It's great to have you. I know that you're really busy. You're in the middle of a whole bunch of different exciting things. Of course, being a competition barber and opening up a new shop very soon. You must be so busy right now.
Yeah, I am very busy. I'm working very hard these days.
Well, you've been working hard for your entire career. You graduated from cosmetology school in 2000, and then you entered your first competition in 2001, and you're met with immediate success. In that competition, you won 3 first place and 2 second place trophies in a variety of disciplines. How much training did you do before you entered the first competition?
Basically, for the first year of school, it was the training every day, hard work, trying to do something that you'll love, so it pays off.
Absolutely. I suppose it would. Now, you've racked up over 30 top 3 finishes over the past 15 years. Is there any particular competition that you like to participate in the most?
My favorite competition is actually the one that's held in Connecticut. Basically, it's like a Super Bowl of the barbers. And my favorite discipline in competition is actually the traditional, doing the razor work, scissors work. However, I also like clippers as well.
Wonderful. Now, when you say the term the traditional, what does that entail? Are we talking about a traditional haircut? Is there a specific style that you are supposed to be making? Or tell us a little bit about how the competition circuit works.
Well, when you talk about traditional really is staying away from clippers and basically using more scissors or razor and a classic looks, classic cuts. Doesn't necessarily have to be so short like a fade. Although these days, in some competition, they also consider fade to be part of the traditional cut, in which you have to use scissors. But basically, when we talk about traditional, we talk about something that, using only scissor, comb, razor.
Fantastic. Now, what goes into being a championship level competitive barber?
A lot of stuff, man. I mean, getting ready for a competition is never easy, like everything else. A lot of hours of hard work and preparation for competition. A lot. I mean, myself, I train for months before competition, and believe it or not, I even go to different coaches. I've been just lucky enough to have some of the world top barbers and stylists in my area. And I go and I learn. When I'm getting ready for a competition, I do not leave a stone unturned. I check everything. What is it that I can do to get better for that competition? It is not just a competition. I have passion for industry, So it pays. Whether you win the competition or not, it definitely pays back all the hard work you did. You learn.
Absolutely. You learn and you compete and you further your craft. Now, what do you do to approach training? Give us an example of what it's like training, like a typical day of training for MC.
Basically working. I do, about 20 haircuts a day. And it is funny. I mean, my clients, when the competition starts coming near, my clients know that I'm getting ready for competition because my timer is there. I am timing every haircut. I'm trying different things, trying to be creative, and you have to watch the time. So creative within the time.
Okay, so your clients are fine with you testing out new techniques on their heads?
Believe it or not, my clients trust me very much.
I believe it.
My clients trust me, so they are always for whatever I recommend. They are fine with it. My clients are most of the time the ones that I practice on and the ones that I take to a competition.
Oh, okay. Do you have a lot of clients who come in and just leave their hair in your hands?
Of course. Barbers used to be just barbers. Basically, you walk in You sit down, the barber cuts your hair, you leave, 10 minutes you are out, you look like the guy before you or the guy that's going to be after you. I think that has changed. With the barbers today, we are changing. We are moving the industry to next level. Our clients see us barbers/stylists. They come to us and say, listen, do what you think looks the best on me.
That's amazing. And having that combination of old school mentality as a barber who's just no nonsense, he's going to give you the best cut possible, coupled with the fact that you can be a stylist, that you can really designing the hair to your client's preferences. I think that that's an exceptional skill.
Well, I've been fortunate because when I first started, I started in a cosmetology school and I graduated from cosmetology school. And my early years in the industry were actually in hairdressing. I was a hairdresser. I was fortunate enough to be assistant for one of the top educators for Paul Mitchell in the United States. As a matter of fact, the person was awarded Educator of the Year 2 years after I left from being apprenticed to him. So yes, I have a unique background where I was a hairstylist, apprenticed to some of the top stylists in the country, and then I moved to barbering, specifically men's hair grooming.
Well, thanks for taking us a little bit back into your past, but why don't we go back to the beginning? As a child, you grew up in what was formerly known as Yugoslavia. As a kid, you were the one who was cutting everyone's hair. Now, was that the beginning of your passion for hair cutting?
To be honest, I didn't even know about the industry of hair cutting, but it was a necessity. When we went to school, we didn't want a grandma's haircuts, basically. That's what it is. A grandma would just take the scissors, make sure it's short, and that's the end of the story. So me and my little cousins and my brother and decided we're going to cut it ourselves. We'll probably do a better job than the grandma. At least we know what we wanted.
Yeah.
So I was somehow selected to be the one to cut the hair for my friends and my cousins. And that's where it really started. I believe I was probably somewhere around 12, maybe 13. And that's where it started. I used to use a pair of scissors with plastic handles and a big comb.
Wow.
And that's how it started.
That's amazing. Now, tell us a little bit about what it was like growing up in that particular area.
You know, I have 3 kids, and a lot of times I tell my kids, I wish I can have you live for a week the way I used to live when I was a kid. It was not easy. I actually grew up with my grandfather, who had 10 of his own kids, plus me and my brother. And we grew up in a small house. We had 2 bedrooms, living room, kitchen. It was difficult. It was not easy.
And how about the area surrounding you? Did you find yourself in any sort of trouble with military operations or was there ever any danger while you were growing up?
Danger actually started when I was about 17. That's when all that mess, the wars and stuff started. And actually that's when I left the country overnight. Yugoslavia had, the military was obligatory. So I kind of escaped through, overnight. I just disappeared from the country. When I was supposed to go to military, I didn't want to be part of it.
Now, why did you not want to be a part of it? Did you feel that there was just unfortunate things going on with the military at that time? Did it just seem like it wasn't really the sort of thing that you could believe in?
Listen, I can never justify wars. And basically, my country was the oppressing country. They were sending military to Bosnia and Herzegovina. I don't justify wars, period. The wars are something, it's unfortunate that when they happen, it's unfortunate. Only the innocent and poor pay the price. I know, even though this is my first time to see you and talk to you. I talked to you a few times before. You want what I want. You want peace, you want tranquility, you want happiness for you and your family. And we all want that. All of us. It doesn't matter what our faith is, background, ethnicity. We all want our family to be happy. We want to be happy, and that's the end of the story. The war never brings happiness to nobody. I mean, my wife is a victim of war. I mean, her father got killed, 3 of her uncles got killed in the war. She's a victim of the war. Nobody in the war benefits except a few rich people.
So you managed to get out of there. When you escaped former Yugoslavia, did you encounter any difficulties trying to get out of the country?
Not really. I mean, I just left a couple of days or something like that it was before my 17th birthday, which I could travel. After 17th birthday, you cannot leave because that's when you are eligible for military. So I just left I know it was few days before my 17th birthday. I took a bus and I went to Sweden. And that's where I was actually staying for about a year in a camps where I actually used to practice haircutting again. I was sitting in the camps all day, doing nothing, and I put on the door of my room men's haircutting. So I would just get clients and, do what I like to do.
It's a trade that you've had all your life, it seems, which is fantastic. Now, you were in Sweden for how long?
I was in Sweden for about a year.
And then from there, did you happen to go straight to America, or what was the travel like?
Yeah, I actually, for some reason, Swedish did not accept me to stay there for permanent. Any single person that was there, they actually sent back, and I didn't want to go back to former Yugoslavia. So basically, I had to do what I had to do to come to America, where I already had some family members.
Oh, fantastic. So you had a home base in America because of your family.
Well, yes. And as a matter of fact, when I got to Sweden, I started learning English instead of Swedish. Because I was actually planning to come to America. My older brother, who used to live with me, he came to America a few years prior to that. My father, he came to America in the 80s. I had some uncles in America. So I was planning to come to America myself. When I got into Sweden, I was actually learning English instead of Swedish.
Did you get to Connecticut right away? Did you start there, or where did you start off living in America?
Yeah, I actually got in Connecticut first. When I came to America, I came to Hartford, Connecticut. I stayed there for not too long, maybe like 6 months. Then I moved to New York. After that, I moved to Florida for a couple of years, and I came back to Connecticut.
Wow, so you've been up and down the East Coast pretty much.
Pretty much, yes. I love Florida, but most of my family is here, so I had to come to Connecticut.
That makes sense for sure. Now, you didn't actually start cutting hair when you initially moved to America. You actually participated in the food industry for a little while. Could you tell us a little bit about your old jobs?
Yeah, actually, when I came to America, I didn't go into hair industry right away. There were different obstacles. So I moved into a restaurant business since my family was into restaurant business. I was waiting on tables for about 6-7 years, and that really, restaurants are not for everybody. They are for everybody to eat in them, but not to work in them. And they are not for me. So after about 7 years, I say, I gotta change. I can't do this no more. I have to find, my career. What am I going to be doing in my life? Am I going to be a waiter or something else?
So what was the spark that made being a barber back into your mind? Because you had not done that for a while.
Again, necessity. I had to change the job.
Okay.
And necessity basically. I had to get back I had to get out from the restaurants. I couldn't take restaurants no more. And I said, what can I do? And always, whenever I was thinking to change the job within those 7 years, whenever I thought about changing my job, the first thing that came to my mind was haircutting. And eventually, it came, I just decided to go to school to be a hairstylist. And that's when it started in 2000.
And so you went straight to cosmetology school at that point. You've studied under a variety of instructors in your life, more notably former men's style world champions Peter LaBelle. Which teacher do you feel taught you the most?
Honestly, they are good. But going back at the beginning of my career, the gentleman I studied under, to whom I was apprentice for 6 months, Anthony Quattropan, he was the educator for Paul Mitchell. I really learned from him a lot for those 6 months. After that, learning from U.S. champions, Peter LaBelle, they are amazing stylists, both of them. They are excellent in the sculpting, which is a razor cutting techniques, styling of men's hair. I really learned from these three gentlemen a lot.
Tell us a little bit more about Anthony Quattropan. What was it like studying under him, and what did he do to help you find your style?
Really, I looked up to this gentleman a lot. He was very professional, very skillful. He knew his craft, and I really looked up to him a lot, and I learned a lot from him.
Is there anything specific that you took away from Anthony?
My scissor work, really, basically, most of My scissor techniques really came from him. He learned from this, I believe he learned most of his stuff from this Japanese master that also works for Paul Mitchell. I believe his name is Takahashi. And basically most of my scissor techniques I really picked up from this gentleman. And
fantastic. Now, you are relocating to a brand new location. How will this new barbershop better serve its clientele?
Basically, I think we are moving to a great location that is going to be in the plaza. And we are really moving to a next level in the industry. I mean, we are starting from scratch. We are building barbershop and everything with it. The service, I'm talking about sanitation, which is very, very important part of barbering industry, which really is lacking in many barbershops. As they say, we are stepping up our game in every category, whether it is a service, whether it is a sanitation, you name it.
Sanitation seems to be something that is actually, I'm seeing a new movement in barbershops. It's become more prevalent right now. What do you think is spurring on that particular movement towards sanitation?
Oh, listen, this is new age. It is not like before. Now there is a lot of diseases. There is a lot of skin problems. Sanitation is very important today. And you know what? Sanitation is your reputation today. Personally, as a barber, I would rather go to very clean barber who practices sanitation, even if I don't get the best haircut, than to the best barber who gives me excellent haircut, but with a haircut he might also give me some type of a head rash, lice, or whatever it might be. So really, sanitation is very important today. I've been in the barber shops where I see barber using one comb from one client to another client. This might have been fine 30, 40 years ago, but it is not fine today. I mean, you have all type of funguses, all type of skin problems. Sanitation is extremely important in the industry today.
So with that, as well as other things, we're looking at a new wave of barbershop. It's not just about the cleanliness, it's about the luxury of the experience of going to the barber. Now, tell me, how do you keep that luxurious feeling while still keeping that old school barber mentality?
Hard work. I mean, we have to work hard. We have to practice our craft professionally. And basically, we barbers have to fight back. We are not going to let stylists take it from us. We are going to give our clients the service. Barbers are no longer what they used to be. You come, as I said, you sit down, get your haircut. If you ask for a particular style or something special, whether it is a facial or something else, the barbers used to say, listen, buddy, you want a haircut or you want a style? If you want a haircut, I'm a barber. If you want a style, go to a stylist. Today, we are barber/stylist. You stay with us no matter what you want, whether it's a haircut or it's a style or it's a facial. We do it for you. We are new generation barbers.
Speaking of the new generation and the future of hairstyling, is there still more left to discover, or has everything already been done?
I don't know if everything has been done. A lot of things have been discovered. We cut hair with a straight edge razor, with scissors, with clippers, with fire. We do cinching with fire.
Whoa. With fire?
With fire. We use fire for hair cutting.
Do you actively use fire for haircutting?
Not all the time, but we do it. And as a matter of fact, on some of my videos, I use fire for removing hair from the ears. But we also do a haircut with fire.
How does that work?
It works. It's cinching.
Okay, well, explain this to me. What's the benefit of using fire?
Basically, it just cuts down the hair just like everything else. It's just a different tool to cut hair with. You can use a razor. I can use a razor to cut your hair. I can use clippers to cut your hair. I can use scissors to cut your hair. And I can use fire to cut your hair. It's just another tool for hair cutting to achieve desired look.
That's amazing. Speaking of amazing, your career. Looking back to your initial beginnings when you're cutting your friend's hair to now, opening up a brand new barbershop, winning multiple trophies. Are you amazed at what you've accomplished over the years?
Yes. If someone has told me 15 years ago that I will be where I am right now, I wouldn't believe him. I simply wouldn't. That I would be one of the top barbers on the competitions, that I actually have fans. When I go to compete, people ask, is the guy with the crazy shears or scissors going to be there? I wouldn't believe this. Again, hard work. I really have passion for what I do. I know that I need to learn more, and I simply pursue my dream of being one of the best barbers, one of the top barbers in the United States.
Now, if you had one thing that you could say to yourself as a kid, what would it be?
Be patient. The future is bright.
Now, what does the future hold for MC Barber from this point on?
Honestly, only God knows. I hope it's good, but God knows what's going to happen tomorrow. But I hope it's good.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us on our show today. Definitely check out the new barbershop that MC Barber is opening up. It should be in the Connecticut area very shortly. And we all look forward to seeing you in future competitions. Once again, thank you for your time, MC Barber.
I really appreciate you for having me at your show.
Shut up and sit down.